America. I want to talk to you tonight about Copenhagen. Two different kind of Copenhagens. Remember this. Copenhagen. This is the first one. I'll tell you about that at the very end. The second Copenhagen is the Ja Sure kind, you know, the one in Denmark. This is where President Obama is leaving for Copenhagen tomorrow to bring the 2016 Olympics to Chicago. Oh, I hope we get it. He's joining his wife, Michelle, who is already there. I mean, she made the flight there today. In doing so, President Obama has forgotten two things. We have, first of all, the first one is the troops that are coming home dead from Afghanistan. He's found the time to talk to everybody. I think except for the Food Network and Fox about his Chicago White Sox, but Obama has only had one meeting with his national security advisors to discuss the 66-page memo from General Stanley McChrystal. He wrote that in August and delivered that to the president. Says the troops are urgently needed or we lose. But we got to get to Copenhagen, so let's put the troops off to the side here. Second, it is going to cost approximately $1.2 million just in fuel to fly Air Force One over to Copenhagen. Wow, that's a lot. It's also going to spew over 1 million pounds of CO2 in the atmosphere, while at the same time, he and everybody else lecture us about carbon emissions. Hey, you've got to buy a smaller car. But remember, we got to double that because, of course, the Obamas couldn't travel together. She had to get to Copenhagen tonight. He'll be there tomorrow. Double it. Let's put Al Gore off to the side. You got to ask yourself, why would they do that? What is so important that we fly two of these jets overseas to Copenhagen and put our troops off to the side? Well, it's easy, of course. It's important for the city of Chicago to get the Olympics. You know, I wouldn't think that with everything that's going on, that Chicago and the Olympics would be a priority, but it is for this president and his gal pal, because remember, they're playing for all the gold. On Fox and Friends this morning, they showed you all the people involved around Obama who want the Olympics, like David Axelrod and Mayor Daley. But to me, those people are secondary. There's one player that we're going to talk about tonight, and we have been talking about her and some of her wonderful things that she's done for a while now. But tonight I want to really have you meet Valerie Jarrett. Oh, we're going to spend a few minutes with Valerie Jarrett tonight. And I want you to ask this one question. At the end of this, should this woman be anywhere near the President of the United States and the White House, the highest office in the land? Just remember that question. Should she be next to the President? She's the president's closest advisor. Their families go way back. She is the reason he moved to Chicago. In fact, she got her that special assistant job in City Hall working for Mayor Daley. Oh, it's like a nice family, kind of like the Gaudis in a way. At times, I'm just saying, maybe, I don't know. Well, her mother also appointed Bill Ayers' dad. You remember Bill Ayers. Do we have, oh, look at the two. Yeah, here he is, Bill Ayers. Remember him? Yeah, you can remember him usually by prisoner number 213710. Remember him? Well, she knows him because her mom appointed his dad to the board of her mom's foundation called the Erickson Institute. It's weird. Their parents worked together, and she had to know this guy. But the guy, you know, from the Weather Underground here that bombed the Pentagon, the guy that he doesn't know, she does, but she's like a sister to him. Okay, I can't make that one work in my head, but let's all move along, shall we? You know, past William Ayers. Really? That's 1 degree of separation. Valerie Jarrett also, 1 degree of separation from another person. She was instrumental in bringing in one of my favorite people, Van Jones, to the White House.
Van Jones, we were so delighted to be able to recruit him into the White House. We've been watching him really he's not that old, but for as long as he's been active out in Oakland, and all of the ways that he has, the creative ideas that he has.
She is great. She's been watching him since Oakland. She knew who he was. He, of course, I am. But she's been watching him since Oakland. Well, that is incredible. She knows the connections herself. She knows, of course, of, well, you know, oopsie. Yeah, oops again. Oh, and Mumia, oops. Remember him? He's the cop killer. The guy who took a police officer in Philadelphia, took a gun to his forehead, and pulled the trigger. Yeah, this guy wants this guy, the cop killer, out of jail. Oh, and she's been watching him since Oakland when he was participating in 9/11 truther things. That's weird. So how did Van Jones get in? The question that we have asked the White House to answer over and over again. How did Van Jones become a special advisor? Here it is, gang. Valerie Jarrett. Good close personal friends. But that's not all. There's another scandal that we have been telling you about. Came to light courtesy of BigGovernment.com, BigHollywood.com. It's involving the NEA. Yeah. They use government money to create art like this. This, to me, sick shouldn't equal broke. Enough is enough. Demand health care. Yeah, that's great. Health care for all. Yeah, I'm glad that our tax dollars are going to artists to create propaganda art. See, my liberal friends, they never believe me when I say this, and then I say, I have the audio, and they always do this. Well, I'd like to hear that audio. Okay, here it is.
This is just the beginning. This is the first telephone call of a brand new conversation. We are just now learning how to really bring this community together to speak with the government. What that looks like legally, we're still trying to figure out the laws of putting government websites on Facebook. I would encourage you to pick something, whether it's healthcare, education, the environment. You know, there's a 4 key areas that the corporation has identified as the areas of service. And then my ask would be to apply your artistic creative communities, utilities.
That's fantastic. He later goes on to say that he'd like you also to push the president and his administration. By the way, you've seen this poster before. You get that? The Hope poster. There it is. Wait, boop, boop, boop. Okay, the Hope poster. There. Now I got it. Come on, try it. Ready? 1. Whoop. Okay, the Hope poster. What you haven't seen, let's try it one more time, is the guy underneath the Hope poster. That is the voice you just heard, Yossi Sargent. See him? Great. Yossi Sargent was the one blamed. When we first played that tape, everybody said, oh boy, Yossi Sargent, bad, wrong. So they put him over with sad Al Gore. Yep, he was expendable. You see, they knew that you would know this is about indoctrination, kind of like, oh yeah, this. Fantastic. As much as I love having my kids indoctrinated in classrooms, I got to say a big nope to that one. But this one's not being done by classrooms. It's being done by your tax dollars, sure. But it's being done by artists. They're paying them to create this. So you can just spontaneously see this stuff appear. Well, what does it have to do with Valerie Jarrett? Because remember, the bad person was, of course, Buffy, the artwork slayer. Buffy was blamed on this, but when we went back and listened to the tape, listen to what Buffy said on that conference call.
I'm at the Office of Public Engagement here at the White House. Our office does a lot of outreach to communities all across the country, either by constituency group or by issue. We have about 20 folks, and we work under Valerie Jarrett. She's one of our fantastic leaders.
Uh-oh. Bad Buffy. We don't say those things out loud. Off to Al Gore land you go. Yeah.